Hey guys, welcome to my second grimoire with me. Today I have another autumn edition for you, and I'm very excited to share this because I think it turned out very beautifully. Last time I did a page dedicated to some autumn rituals, and today I decided to go for a pumpkin spread. I choose some of the information out of my working grimoires and transferred it into my art grimoire. And I want to show you the process. So the entire filming process was a bit chaotic, probably because I'm pretty chaotic, but I lost like a lot of footage 3 times, and you will see me switching locations a lot because I haven't figured out yet how I would like to film these videos. Since I'm just filming with my normal phone, I haven't really figured out how to get a good shot. So I'm still experimenting a bit with my camera setup, just in case you're wondering. So this time, again, as you can see, I start in a different journal once again. Most times I like to take out pages from all of my sketchbooks and put them into either different sketchbooks or my art grimoire. I chose this one because this time I wanted to work with watercolor, and as you can see here, I chose orange, brown and red tones to make the background. I thought it would fit perfectly with the autumn theme I wanted to go for. I don't really have a system behind how I use watercolor. In this case, I just went for it. I like the texture it gave the pages once they were dry. I also decided to make one page darker than the other. So as you can see here, sadly, one of my pages came out on its own. Originally, I wasn't going to remove this grimoire spread from this journal, but because one of the pages came out by its own, I took the other one out as well and decided to sew them together, which I sadly lost the footage of. So another location switch, as you can see here, that's one of the times I lost some footage. That's why you can see washi tape on one corner, paper on the upper corner, and the stamp of my teacup, which is one of my favorite stamps I have. Because I lost all the footage, I'm very precise with what I'm doing. I'm not trying around so much because I know exactly what I want, because I had it laid out once before but lost all of the footage for it. So these things I'm putting around the corner, pumpkins and leaves, these are actually fabric. Usually they came in a long line and I cut the individual pieces myself, but again I lost the footage of this process. So I'm trying a bit to create beautiful edges with these tiny pumpkins and leaves, and I liked it more than I thought, especially because of the texture. You cannot see it here very well, but if you touch it, it's very soft fabric, and I think it gives the whole page another feeling. My art journal spreads, as well as my grimoire spreads, I like to experiment with different materials, so most times I will do these kind of collage things. So this page is about pumpkins, and I wanted to include the pumpkin seeds of last Samhain into the spread. That's why I took one of my tea bags again and collected the pumpkin seeds into it to hopefully find a good placement in the spread itself to include the seeds onto the page. So I like to use these empty tea bags. Mostly I use them in my pen pal letters to send little sticker collections to my pen pal friends, but in my grimoire spreads I usually use them for herbs or sometimes additional resources as a little pocket, like you can see in my last video where I did my autumn grimoire themed spread. I have this thing that I love to hide information or tiny secrets into my spreads that started with my pen pal letters, then moved over to my art journal pages, and now it also bled into my grimoire pages. But I don't mind at all. I think it's always super cute if I can hide some little secrets into these spreads you only discover once you spend some time looking through the pages. So I am securing the pumpkin seeds with washi tape to make a little package, you could say. This time I tried to reduce my material a lot. If you watched my last video, you saw how much material I collected and threw on my table to create with. This time I was more planned and more structured. So, I wanted to put the Fox label onto the page, and to secure it I needed to create a tiny pocket. That's why I used this tiny paper piece. This paper piece is actually more interesting than it looks because I colored it myself with curcuma, or turmeric I think is the English word. This is a practice I started just last year. I like to color my own paper with red bead or turmeric. Not only because you can use it for witchy workings, because obviously the paper soaks up the water and everything you put in it. I'm still experimenting with this witchy method, but even in a non-witchy sense, it's just super fun to color your own paper. And I think most people do this with black tea or coffee, but I would highly suggest to use different kind of vegetables as well, because the color you get from that is way more vibrant than you would expect. So here you can see again I lost some footage, and this footage was like the whole process of me gluing everything down the page. That's why the pocket I created for the Fox label is already done. Because I wanted to create a tiny secret, I put the mushroom and this bundle of leaves, these stickers, behind the Fox label. So if the Fox label sits inside its pocket, you can only see the mushroom sticking out from the corner, but if you take the Fox label out, you can see what's laced behind. I'm also planning on writing a poem behind the Fox label, so you get two secrets in one. Originally, I wanted to hide the Fox label again behind the seeds, but then I loved the Fox label so much that I didn't want to hide it, so I decided to go for a different design. Now I'm cutting around the acorn. In my spreads, as you also saw last time, I like if things stick out on the side. So if you close the journal or the grimoire, you can see all kinds of things sticking out from all the sides. And I don't know, I just love how this looks if you have this big journal in your hand and you can see like a tiny teaser into the page, you could say. I started writing down my information onto the page, and halfway through I decided to include the other half in this video. On the page that's now almost finished except for the banner, I decided to go for some general information about pumpkins. Most of them actually turned out to be non-witchy and more archaeological based, but that's not really surprising considering I'm a passionate archaeologist. So since this is just a very tiny collection of the information I have, I love to put things onto these pages I actually found the most fascinating. That's why this art grimoire is not my working grimoire. So onto the other page I decided to put a recipe. This recipe is from my fellow witch at Witch's Cookery, and she made a beautiful video about her Samhain preparations, and in it she also shared this recipe for this pumpkin bread. So I will link her YouTube video and her channel above and below. Hey guys, here's Editing Witchling. So while editing I discovered that I have a few mistakes in my writing, and that's because I am dyslexic as fuck. So this happens to me all the time, and I thought before someone says anything I would tell you myself. So I wrote pumpkin wrong, collapsed, and a German word Arznei. Yeah. So what can I say? So I'm not dumb or anything, just my brain cannot handle letters and words and alphabets. It doesn't matter which language, all languages I speak, I have this problem. And yeah. This will definitely happen again, just so you know. It's because I'm sharing this with the whole world, I thought I would address that real quick. Yeah, but I hope you still enjoy the video. I probably wrote more things wrong than I just said. Even when I look at it now, I can see a few more mistakes. But as I explained before, this happens to me all the time, nothing new. Okay, here we have the recipe. And now I decided to put one of my favorite autumn poems from Oscar Wilde onto the Tiny Fox label. I left the space free in the back because I wanted to be able to add some information later on. Now I decided to secure the tiny pumpkin seed envelope or pumpkin seed package onto the page. First I thought I would glue it down, but then I remembered my original idea to make it kind of like a door or a window to hide something else behind. And because I love to include secrets into my spreads, I went for that. So I secured the pocket just on these 2 points on the page. So I was able to open the door, the pumpkin door, you could say. I hope that makes sense. And that would be my pumpkin grimoire page. I really hope you enjoyed it. I mean, it was super chaotic and lots of mistakes were made, but I really love the end result. I'm very happy that I decided to do another autumn page this year and share it with you. Let me know if you use art in your grimoires. I would be very happy to see what other witches are using to create their grimoire spreads. So I hope you liked this video and I see you next time. Bye bye!